there, Danielle Matthews here. I am coming to you live from Florida. Today is Monday, so it is book club day, and we are in the midst of reading The Yoga of Relationships, which is probably not anything that you think when you think of that title. It has nothing to do with poses, nothing to do with yoga as we think about it in the West, but really understanding the body-mind connection and understanding how the deeper you know yourself, the deeper you can get to know others, and the deeper your relationships will be. So if you are joining me live, let me know when you get here, and just put something in the chat. If you are catching the replay, please also let me know that you're catching the replay, because it's always nice for me to see who's joining us in these discussions. They're really powerful discussions. And if this is your first time coming across the book club, don't worry, every chapter is standalone. It's insightful. You're coming across this for a reason, and this chapter is all about self-awareness. Hey, everybody. Good to see you. Glad you're on here live with me. Thanks for letting me know. And let's just jump right in. So this chapter, chapter 6, all about self-awareness. And I think the summary of the whole thing starts and stops with this sentence. We cannot be fully in a relationship with another until we know ourselves. Once you deeply know and understand your true self, I promise you, it's like the gateway to understanding everybody else. First of all, you have a lot more compassion for other people because you understand that they're dealing with their crazy mind and not understanding the truth of who they are. And you start to understand the people that you're with in a relationship with a lot deeper. So he explains it like this. He says, to experience self-actualization, we have to drop all identification, perceptions, expectations, prejudices, and demands. We must be in touch with what we are actually experiencing in the present moment. I actually just taught a workshop here in Florida this past weekend, which, I was thinking this is a workshop we could do online. Let me know if you'd be interested in hosting a workshop where we can go a little bit deeper and then some of the tools that I've learned from Amar Desai and his daughter Kamini Desai. But basically in the workshop we were talking about how things happen in our past, and sometimes the energy of that event kind of lingers. And so we end up seeing through this lens of our past. So when things happen, like the example of maybe you asked your kid to do the dishes and you come home from whatever you were doing and the dishes aren't done. And you blow up at your kid. Why didn't you do them? Blah, blah, what's wrong with you? You never listen to me. One of these things. And the reality is, it's not really about the dishes in that moment. It's because you're seeing it through the lens of no one ever listens to me, or I'm not respected, or something, because in your past there has been an event, or maybe events where in fact you weren't listened to. Maybe as a child you had parents that were really angry all the time and they shut you down and suppressed your voice. And so you weren't able to speak your mind. Your voice was not valued, or you weren't respected. And so now in the present moment, this thing, which is totally nonchalant thing, whatever, the kid forgot to clean the dishes, they need to listen to you, and they should do that if you asked, but okay, they forgot. You could easily say, hey, looks like you forgot the dishes. Can you grab them now? But instead you blow up. Why? Because this sort of has the same essence of something from your past where you weren't listened to, you weren't respected, that kind of thing. And so it's like you hit this emotional landmine. It's like you get triggered, the button gets pushed, right? And you go off. Why do you go off? It's not about the dishes. It's about whatever had happened in the past that now the hurt is still there. It's like the thorn that's in your arm that just got bumped up against. And we need to pull the thorn out. We need to get rid of that thing. That's what I did in the workshop over the weekend. It was amazing. And those of you in mastery, right, you've been learning some of the tools that have done the private things with me. But that's what he's talking about here. He's saying that you have to drop all of these things that we carry into every present moment in order to see who you truly are. So you stop seeing through the lens of your past and you actually see as your true self. He says, we then become deeply aware of what we are experiencing without distortions, because all of us are looking at lens like there's a filter. Think about all these filters. Just before I got on Instagram, it was asking if I wanted to have a filter that looked like I just had makeup on. I'm like, no, I don't need that filter. This is what I look like. You can see what I look like. But we all have these filters through which we see life. And so we look at it and we think we're looking at the events just as they are, but we're not. We're looking at it through our pre-programmed past, our emotions from the past, and just life events from the past that cause us to look through a certain lens. All right. And so we are not seeing things as they are. That's the whole point of all of this. We're seeing things through a lens. And so what we need to do is we need to realize we are not our concepts. We are not this self-image. We are the thing that has been the witness to all of it. And the whole point of this chapter is talking about how to get into that witness space. So you undo and you start to see your triggers. You start to see all of these things that are causing you to react a certain way in the moment that are not actually you. All right. And relationships become a lot easier when you realize this, because you also realize nothing external is ever going to fix the things internal to you, right? Like for the example with the dishes, like even them doing the dishes is not going to fix the fact that within you, you're holding on to some resentment, something from your past where you weren't listened to, you weren't respected, etc. And so that thorn is going to get bumped up against again and again and again, mostly with the people that are around you often because they have more opportunities to bump into it, right? And this is where it's like, look, you need to understand that no one external can fix you. You've got to fix you. You don't need your partner to just, respect your boundaries and operate in the perfect way all the time and never upset you all the time. That's like building a box around the thorn. Like, no, you need to pull the thorn out. Okay, you need to just go in there and find the thorn and pull the thorn out. But the thing is, you don't realize where your thorns are until a loved one bumps up against them. That's why relationships are amazing. I think he has a quote on the next page. I think he said something like, we pay someone to straighten us out, right? Astrologers, counselors, psychics, psychologists, when all we need is, when he says, when all along our lover is trying to do this for free. Right? Your trigger, the thing that you're getting triggered by in the relationship is the teaching moment. It's letting you see what that thorn is so you can go, oh, this isn't serving me. This mindset isn't serving me. Something happened that's no longer serving me that I'm carrying around. All right. And then you don't depend on anything external. I think I keep hitting this point because it's so key. People think, oh, I just need someone else and then I'll be whole. I need something external to me that will complete me. Guys, if you're leaning on something external to you, if that thing goes away, which eventually it will, they're going to do something that upsets you. They're going to pass away. They're going to leave. Something's going to happen. They lose their health, whatever. You're going to be off balance. Okay, so you need to find and get grounded within yourself and be comfortable within yourself. But in order to do that, you got to deal with these things, all these thorns that are in there from your past. And a lot of people hate to do that. And that's why they look for relationships to fix it. And this is why there's so many relationships that don't work out, because you can never get the other person to fix you. You got to fix you. Is this making sense? High five me. Put a 5 in the chat if this is making sense. He says, the I am has no dependence on external influence for fulfillment. When you realize you are the witness, you are that great I am, you need nothing external. You have true freedom, and you don't need to control or manipulate or manage anything outside of you in order to feel safe and secure, because you feel it internally. Okay, great. I'm glad you're with me. Good. I'm seeing 5s. He says, one thing to start reflecting on, and I would invite you to use these questions at the top of page 44, at least in my book version. He says, I am not the thought I am thinking. I am not the emotion I am feeling. I am not the sensation in my body, because I am my thoughts, my emotions. I am not my thoughts, my emotions, or my body. I am untouched, unaffected, and independent from the drama I call my life. Oh, those weren't the questions I was thinking about. Those must be on another page. Sorry. We'll come back to the thought about the questions. But that quote that's in italics there on the top of 44, the way I think about this is basically like the analogy of an actor playing in a movie. Okay, so think about your favorite actor. I always like whatever Leonardo DiCaprio is in. Like, I always like his movies. They're usually pretty darn good. And this is like Leonardo DiCaprio goes to play a role. And does he play easy roles or complex ones? He chooses complex ones. Why does he choose complex roles? Because he wants to push himself as an actor to be able to show and express the highs and also embody the lows. All right. So both. He wants to play both. Like an actor wants to be pushed. They don't want to play the simple roles. And so what the yogis say, and the perspective here is that so actors, let me come back to the actor analogy. So an actor, can you imagine if an actor forgot he was acting? If he got so involved in the role that it impacted him, Leonardo DiCaprio, but it doesn't, right? Because he knows I'm going into a role, I am acting, and whatever happens to this character, I'm going to embody it, I'm going to feel it, I'm going to experience it, but I know I am more than that, because I know when they're done, I'm going to be able to come back to my life as Leonardo DiCaprio. Does this make sense? And what the yogis say is that's exactly the same thing with you here. There is a presence, your soul has come into this body and is experiencing life through Danielle Matthews. My soul is acting the part of Danielle Matthews in this life. But it is the witness. It knows, hey, whatever happens to her, I'm fine. I'm going to be here when she goes. I was here before she came. It's like we are actors in a movie and we have forgotten that we are the actor, that it's just a movie. We're playing it like it's the real deal. We're getting so upset by everything. And what he's saying is to realize I'm not the thought I'm thinking. No, you're the witness. I'm not the emotion I'm feeling. No, you're the witness to the emotions that are running through. I am not the sensation in my body because I am not my thoughts, emotions, or body. I am untouched, unaffected, and independent from the drama I call life. There is a witnessing presence behind the drama of life. You understand me? This is a deep thing that he's saying here. And so then he gets into, well, how do we discover this? And what do we do about it? And he talks about being the mirror, or just life being a mirror, how to be the witness, and how to integrate this and live and study your life in this way. And so he says, in loving relationships, everything we encounter in the other is a direct reflection of who we are. As within, so without. And I think it's interesting, I've shared with you guys before about this, and I'll talk about it again, this idea that we have these triggers, right? We have these things inside of us, and it's like the right circumstances have to happen for us to realize, right? We have to get our thorn bumped up against for us to realize there's a thorn in there. And a lot of times, we blame the external thing, we blame the person or the situation for causing you pain, but the truth is there would have been no pain if you didn't have the thorn in you, right? They hit your thorn. So yeah, in a way, it would be easy to blame them and say, well, you did that, now I feel bad. But the truth is, you only feel bad because you had a thorn in there that they hit, right? And so the answer is not to manage them and control them and tell them never to hit your thorn again. The answer is to go, oh shoot, I have a thorn in there. I didn't even realize I had a thorn in there. I need to pull the thorn out. So life is a mirror. It is showing you what's actually in you. Does that make sense? And we all get so messed up. We think it's all external and everybody out there is the problem. When in reality, no, it's showing where you have the problems, where you have the triggers, where you have expectation that's not being met or whatever it is. Does that make sense? So that's what it's saying. Your trigger is your teacher, is really the bottom line there. And we need the weather, right? We need the circumstances. We need the dynamics happening around us to bump up against the thorn. Blaming others is throwing something at them for revealing us to ourselves. It's like getting angry at somebody else is ridiculous when you realize it was my fault. I had a thing in here. And it's not like judge yourself. It's like, oh, they're showing me. But when you blame externally, like you're missing the learning opportunity. Does that make sense? You're missing the opportunity to reflect and go, oh, there was something within me that was having a problem with this. What is that thing within me? Okay? Like with the dishes. It's like, okay, the kid didn't do the dishes, so I'm getting all angry. But the reality is, no, I'm angry because I wasn't listened to. Why am I having such a problem with that? Oh, because I wasn't listened to before. Oh, I still am holding on to this resentment or upset emotion or whatever from my past of not being heard. I need to go deal with that rather than telling everybody out here that they need to listen to me. Does that make sense? Okay. Unless we take responsibility, we will never change the source of our unhappiness. And this is where people go through relationship after relationship thinking the external world is the problem, the others are the problem, when really it's them. And that's why they encounter the same problems with different people in different situations and different circumstances, because it's the same them turning up with the same thorns that are getting bumped into. Okay? And we all do this. You do it too. You're not exempt. We all do this. We can see our loved ones' thorns a lot easier than our own, but the truth is you have them too. Okay? He says, love brings the closeness we crave, but it also reveals what we want to hide, right? People will bump up against your thorns when you get into a close relationship. And so you got to be ready for it. He says, if we can love just one person, no matter what they do, it will purify us all the way. I thought this was interesting because what he was saying was, when you learn to open your heart and accept another completely as they are, they bump up against your thorns, they do everything else, whatever, you're getting uncomfortable, but you're just accepting them fully as they are, you're keeping your heart open. And in doing that, it's like it gets rid of, it's almost like just the light that comes through your heart. It's like a light coming into a dark room. It just gets rid of all of these thorns in you because your heart is open and you release all of these things. It's powerful. Accepting others means you fully accepted yourself as well. And you've accepted the way that you want things to be, don't want things to be. You've just let it go. You've accepted things are as they are, which is a profound thing to get to do. All right. So that's using life as a mirror. So realizing it's just showing you what's incomplete or problematic inside of you. All right. So who is ready to start using life as the teacher that it's trying to be? Moment after moment, situation after situation. Put a 1 in the chat if you're going to start using it to reflect on, oh, what inside of me is making me upset with this? Okay, it is, honest to goodness, the best thing you can possibly do. All right, and then the next thing, once you start to use life in this way to see, well, what is this revealing within me? Good job, Tina. Awesome. Good. I'm glad to see that you are. Now, you must be the witness. So you must start to observe your triggers. You must start to observe the thorns that are inside of you, these emotional landmines that are coming up, these different masks that we're wearing, right? We need to get them removed. So he says, for the witness, there is nothing to do, nothing to control, no one to manage. It simply observes everything that is in passing. The witness enables us to understand the ego for what it is, a false identification. Observation must be practiced with compassionate detachment. So it's not that you are detaching from life and becoming like dissociated from life. No, it's saying life is happening and you're watching with a different lens. You're watching as if you would watch a movie where you're feeling the highs and the lows of the movie, but you're aware that you're watching a movie. Does that make sense? You're aware that you're not the actor, that you're watching someone act this out. And when you get into the witness space, you realize Danielle Matthews is an actress in this movie, and she's having these ups and downs, but there is a steadiness beyond all of it, which she truly is. All right? And that's what you can get connected with. And that's where you can stay in this place of peace, no matter what is happening in life. So you ride the ups, you ride the downs, you don't have preference, you're just there. It's kind of like the sky. It's there when it's raining, it's there when it's sunny, it's there when there's a hurricane. It's there all the time. And it's just ride now because it knows the things are going to pass, the next weather pattern is going to come in, and it's just there, enjoying it all, the range of it all. All right? He then goes on to say, the witness provides intuitive insights. This is what's beautiful. When you can disidentify from your reactions a little bit, when you create space, when you see them as, oh, there was my thorn that just got triggered, the witness, when you're in the witnessing presence, can provide intuitive insights, can help you see what that's really about. It's not about the dishes. It's about the fact that you weren't listened to as a kid, right? And it helps us see beyond the superficial, superimposed perceptions of reality. This penetrating insight allows us to understand personal and interpersonal interactions and reveals the origins of problems that appear to be coming from others. We think the problem is these people because they bumped up against it and we got uncomfortable, but the truth is you had something there for them to hit. And so they actually just revealed it to you. So thank goodness they taught you that was in there. Right? The non-participative awareness is initiated by the penetrating power of insight and witness. Self-observation is self-regulating. It does not cause the conflict that creates 2 out of 1. Thus, the witness actually creates 1 out of 2, unity out of duality. So it takes us back to the space where we can accept the ups and the downs, the yin and the yang. We see the whole circle behind the 2 seeming opposites. So rather than choosing, well, I always want happy, I never want sad, we go, I understand happy and sad, help me understand and appreciate the other. There is a wholeness behind the whole thing. That's what we're getting to. When I started this, mirrors was hurtful. Yes, it can be upsetting to see life reflected at you and going, it takes radical responsibility. And a lot of people are not up for it. And they like to just go back in their comfort zone and go back to blaming and just saying the world's the problem, I'm not the issue. It's a lot easier to be a victim than to own it. And it can be upsetting. I agree, Charlotte. But it's worth it. It is worth it because what you learn through that will be with you for lifetimes, right? It is knowing and understanding that will last through everything, so you can handle so much more. Just much more easily you can handle it, okay? He then says, welcome whatever presents itself and allow it to unfold without resistance. Don't judge yourself. Don't be upset with it. Don't need it to be any other way. Just let it unfold. And in the observing, old patterns will simply drop away and change happens in its own accord. In the non-doing, so much gets done. Shining the light of awareness on it sometimes is all that's needed for it to dissolve and go away. All right? The light just gets rid of the darkness. There is no fight. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, he says, so first mirror, now be witness, and then self-study. Then really understand yourself. And the rest of the chapter is kind of like, okay, the self-discovery process. We got about 10 minutes. We'll lay it out he lays it out pretty clearly, but we'll just kind of recap it. He says, this process requires turning our attention inward to clearly examine how habits, patterns, and concepts have isolated us from others and separated us from our true self. We've gotten so identified with our thorns, with the way things need to be, with our self-image, that we have become totally disconnected with the truth of who we are. We're so involved in living the movie, we've forgotten that we're acting. All right? We must clearly see how our attractions and aversions rob us of the joy in intimate and loving relationships. Once you give it space, you're able to see this a little bit better. So the first thing he says, the self-discovery process, I think there were like 6 steps. The first is really just about looking at yourself, and this is where the questions come in. So you could journal about this. Which self is creating stress? Which self is seeking relief? Which self has devised a false way of escaping? Which self is creating isolation and loneliness? Which self is longing to be free? These are all aspects of your ego. These are all filters that you're looking through life with from stuff from your past. And so this can reveal yourself to you as you start to reflect these things. He says your new search for deeper meaning requires you to move your attention away from what you have spent so many years learning to a new relationship with what you don't know. All right, so life has brought you to this point, and you've probably realized the answers aren't out there. There's something internal that you need to become aware of, and you have to kind of step into this unknown. And once you can see this, and you can live in this witnessing presence, you can bring that into your day-to-day life, and it's just amazing to live life from that space. Okay? Part 2, he says, consciousness transcends all aspects of life. When old karma starts to show up and tries to steer you off course, you can start to view this as a great opportunity. So when you do get triggered, you go, this is a teaching moment. Okay, there's still something here, right? There's layers and layers. I've been doing this work for a decade. And it's like, still stuff comes up. And I'm like, why am I getting upset? Why is this happening? What is this pushing up against in me? And I'm just like, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. I just keep clearing it because it's like not worth it. It's so heavy to hold on to. And once you start getting rid of it, you just feel lighter. You do. You just feel lighter. You look lighter. You're brighter. People are attracted to you. It's just way better. So it's worth it. Yes, exactly. Lou says, glad to have these thorns irritated and removed, because if they stay there, they can be the root of cancer. Yeah, they can be the root of so many different things. And we were talking about over the weekend at my workshop is how these things, these unresolved things that kind of spin in us, these thorns, if you will, if we don't deal with them, they will physically manifest into literally illnesses. So become aware of, okay, what emotional pattern maybe caused this to come into my body. All right. As you become more conscious, you will be able to create not only inspired thoughts, but also inspired action to support them. So he starts talking about how when you're in this witness space, like right thoughts, right actions will just come through you. You'll know what to do moment by moment. Not because you have to rely on your mind and your preferences, but it's just like an intuitive knowing will come through and you'll just act on that. And that inspiration will be there. Okay? But one of the pitfalls, he says, to be aware of is that, emotions. Emotions will take you out because emotions arise instantaneously. They rush over you. Your mind just embellishes with all these crazy details when things happen, and your mind's not in a good place to be that observer, right? Because the emotions just kind of like overhaul you. And he says, so what you need to understand is that when emotions take over, you need to root yourself in something solid, something that will always be there for you, something that was never not with you, and that is your body. And he says, if you start to connect with your body, so the moment anger comes, breathe. Feel where the anger is in your body and just connect with the sensation in your body. It will ground you, and it will also help you allow that anger to move through. It's incredible. It's exactly what I taught. It was so funny to read this chapter and go, so I taught in the workshop over the weekend. Your body can help you in so many ways, and the body is speaking to you all the time. And that's what he kind of gets into in this section, is talking about how we are totally disconnected from something that is with us from day one till the end of time, our time, and like we don't realize the gift that it is, and how getting to know it will help you get to know yourself on a more deep level. Okay? So the fourth bit, he says faith and trust. Faith bypasses the mind. So there is a piece where the rational mind will not understand what we're talking about. It doesn't understand the witnessing presence because it's not it. It's the thing getting in the way of it. Okay? And so faith, you have to have faith. He says faith bypasses the mind to reveal the supreme possibilities of our own divinity. The groundwork of faith is self-trust and courage. You have to have courage to step out on faith and just trust that something is there beyond which you can touch. And self-trust comes from self-awareness. The more you get to know yourself and your thorns and whatever, and you become more aware of yourself, it's way easier to trust yourself and to know moment by moment, day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, interaction by interaction, I trust that I'm going to be able to know exactly what to do and to say and how to handle it because I know myself. And I can show up fully as myself in that moment. He says, when faith arises, one can live moment to moment without concern for the future. You give up the results of the efforts to the divine. You realize, I can do all I can do, and then I let go of the results. I will show up fully, I will do everything, and then I'm going to let go of my preference of how it all comes out. Because we have the right to action, but not to the results of action. That's the whole thing that we need to learn. All right? Do you know anybody that lives this way? It's amazing to watch when people do live this way. I'm striving to live that way, but I get pulled back all the time by my mind. And that's how it goes. It's just part of the process. But it's a beautiful thing to watch people that are just totally in faith, just totally trusting, that just walk and know it's all going to work out. I have a couple friends like that, and it's like amazing to witness them. And they inspire me. So it's a good thing to strive for. And if you see those people in your life, like look at how they live, because they're living totally on faith, which doesn't make sense to the rational mind. All right. Number 5 was all about signposts of progress. He says, with consistent practice, you begin to notice how much richer and deeper your perceptions are. Communication is clearer and openness develops. You possess sensitivity you never dreamed possible. You will actually start to intuitively understand the dynamics in a room when you walk in, what's going on with your loved ones. You're going to understand them on a deeper level sometimes than they even understand themselves, because your perception and awareness of your own inner stuff, you realize they're the same as me. They're dealing with their stuff, and you're going to be able to see the thorns better than they can see them. And you're going to be able to have more compassion and understanding for them because you understand the dynamics of what's going on. And it's incredible, all right? All of the relationships in your life will become easier. The better you get to know yourself and you have this self-awareness, I'm telling you, this is one of the signposts of your progress, is how much easier it is to just perceive and be with others. He says you will notice this first during a reaction. Oh, also with yourself. You'll first also notice that your criticisms, your judgments, the reactions that you used to just get pulled into, you don't have them as much. First, during a reaction, you're going to go, this doesn't feel good. I don't like it. Why am I doing this? And you're going to stop it. You're going to pull back. That's the first step. Then you're going to see it before it happens. You're going to go, whoop, there's my thorn, right? You're going to feel it before you get pulled into the reaction. And it's like you can create space from it. Then later, it's like the moment of impulse. And then comes the time when you're free from the impulse altogether, where the thorn is gone. And you're like, wow, that used to really bother me, and now it just don't bother me anymore. No, nice. All right, that's what's going to happen. Those are the signposts to know you're kind of moving in the right direction. All right, and he ended this chapter with the quote, you have complete freedom to choose what you do. You have no freedom to choose the results of what you do. I think we should all just like have that out there for us to see all the time. Understand what you can control and what you can't. You can act, you can do, but the results of those actions we don't have control over. And we just have to see, well, what are these dynamics revealing inside of me? What can I continue to work on inside of me? What can I release inside of me? Okay, that's what it's all about. So next week, I think we're going to do 2 chapters, chapter 7 as well as chapter 8, because chapter 7 is kind of tiny and chapter 8 is like 2 pages. So we'll do 7 and 8. All right, so clear communication and gratitude. We're going to jump into next week. If you've got any questions, comments, put it in the Telegram chat. I will be posting this up to YouTube, so it will live there on the playlist forever. And appreciate you guys. I hope you're loving this book. I hope it's insightful. It's not for the faint of heart to realize that, hey, the responsibility rests here, right inside of you. But it's beautiful. Start using life. Watch yourself this week, where you get triggered, where you want to blow up, and understand that, hey, that's revealing something inside of you. It's trying to teach you something. All right, so have a wonderful week, and thanks for being here, guys.